as you get older,
Yep.
you have to look at things in a different way.
Mm-hmm. I'm keeping my fucking hands up.
I'm not reaching for no gun, bro. Can I move my phone?
Might unlock all kind of strip clubs in Omaha. We don't know. This is musty. This is disgusting at the highest level.
Following his traffic encounter with Terence Crawford, Floyd Mayweather just delivered another vicious shot at him. When discussing Crawford's recent wild celebration, Mayweather mocked the Omaha native's demeanor following his victory against Canelo Alvarez. If a win over Canelo makes Crawford act like he rules boxing, what then would happen if he was the one who won against better boxers like Manny? Mayweather said he contends that each combatant is aware of his limitations. Additionally, Mayweather became overly thrilled by Crawford's triumph, which he had handled without any problems years prior, because, in Floyd's opinion, he is just not on the same level.
Protect yourself. Another point, Floyd Mayweather, he don't carry no guns. Floyd don't carry guns.
The criticism was not limited to boxing. Crawford's offering issues have also been mentioned by Mayweather, who brought up the fighter's most recent encounter with Omaha police. It's unfortunate and embarrassing, Floyd added, emphasizing that Crawford should have been with his family, savoring his victory and his position in history, rather than being embroiled in headlines like this.
We've had a lot of comparisons between Terence Crawford and Floyd Mayweather. We've even had the conversation to go as far as who would win in the fight between Terence and Floyd. And I truly don't know the answer to that question.
I do.
You do?
Yes.
Yeah. Who will win that fight?
Floyd.
Floyd will win that
yes,
fight.
Yes, sir. I love you, Terence.
Always figures it out.
Yeah, he's a chess master. Yeah, his IQ in that shit is crazy.
Early this morning in downtown Omaha, the headlines Floyd was referring to started to take shape. The city had celebrated Crawford's Canelo triumph with a grand parade just hours earlier. The major attraction of the party was Crawford, who had just won one of the biggest victories of his career. However, the celebration completely changed by the end of the evening. Officers in the downtown area spotted a car driving carelessly close to North 12th Street and Capitol Avenue just before 1:30 a.m., according to the Omaha Police Department. On Cass Street, they started a stop. There were 4 people in the car, including Crawford. Kasem Shabazz, his head of security, was another inhabitant.
I'm not reaching for no gun, bro. Can I move my phone?
Bug Crawford being harassed by cops and pulled over by the cops right after the parade. This is diabolical.
Later that day, police released a statement outlining their version of events. They said that one of the cops noticed a loaded pistol on the driver's side floorboard while they were chatting with the driver. All 4 occupants were told to exit the vehicle at gunpoint for their own protection. Officers verified that the motorist was Terence Crawford after verifying identification. He received a citation for driving carelessly. The weapons discovered in the vehicle were also mentioned in the statement. It was verified that one of the travelers, who was recognized as a member of Crawford's security detail, was in possession of a legitimate firearm. The department stressed that each of the 4 residents was in compliance with.
Once they had stopped, Crawford was identified as the driver. According to police, officers observed a firearm on the floorboard on the driver's side. All 4 people, including members of Crawford's security team, were ordered out of the vehicle at gunpoint. I spoke with the head of Crawford's security this afternoon, who says he's still shaken up.
On Carr Street, those who had just hours earlier cheered him on the parade were now seeing the same champion in handcuffs. Many have expressed their annoyance, claiming that the evening had ruined what ought to have been an Omaha-proud weekend. Crawford received harsh criticism from others who charged him with bad decision-making and careless driving. An officer from the site was cited by local station KV as saying that the firearm was discovered when Crawford went to retrieve his documents, which included his license and registration.
Bro, I got a crazy clip to show you guys right now. But isn't that a policeman holding a gun to the 3-time undisputed world champ Terence Bud Crawford's head? What did he do that was so bad that you had to pull him over?
The officer clarified that a handgun was visible at Crawford's feet as he leaned forward. The decision to order everyone out at gunpoint was prompted by that sighting. The same version claims that before the matter was resolved, all of the passengers in the car were put in handcuffs. Crawford was heard making it apparent that he was not grabbing for the gun during the stop. Declaring that he was collaborating, he raised his hands.
That was a nightmare. you know, future husband. Just had a brand new child and, you know, children and, you know, and stuff like that. And to know that I almost lost my life last night because we had a police officer that don't know how to articulate a traffic stop.
Later, Qasim Shabazz, his security head, who provided his own account of what happened, reaffirmed that point. He absolutely disagreed with the officer's account. Shabazz claims that because Crawford did not have the documents on him, he never reached for them. Crawford had previously informed the officer that his license and registration were left at home, according to Shees. Shabazz stated that since he had already informed them, there was no need for him to reach for anything more. He further mentioned that Crawford, and as required by Nebraska law, he revealed at the beginning of the stop that they were carrying firearms. The interaction escalated even though it was straightforward. Then Bud added, "I have a firearm, too." He became completely unhinged and went berserk with a cop by his side. "Raise your hands," he says. "Get out of the vehicle. Avoid reaching. Avoid reaching." However, no actual gun was ever seen. She's recalled, "Man, everyone believed we were going to die."
I'm not reaching for no gun, bro. Can I move my...
You telling me the police at Omaha don't know who Terence Crawford is? Putting a gun in his face? Ridiculous.
She's denied the claim of careless driving as well. He claimed that Crawford asked the officer straight out if radar was utilized. Shabazz claims that the officer acknowledged there was no radar involved. "But if you don't have radar, how can you tell that I was speeding?" Crawford inquired. Shabazz asserted that he had videotaped the conversation, including the officer's on-camera statement. "I cannot. I acknowledge that I don't have a radar."
Raid in Omaha after receiving the keys to the city? Huh? Hey, yo, that cop gotta be some hater, bro. Hey, yo, that's like the NYPD holding Derek Jeter on gunpoint and arresting him after the Yankee championship parade in New York City, bro. It doesn't make sense. It wouldn't even happen, bro. It wouldn't even happen. So this cop gotta be some hater, bro.
The discrepancy between Shabazz's story and the official account has stoked more discussion. Shabazz's statement was cited by Crawford's corner as proof that the stop was improperly conducted. Others contended that authorities might still witness irresponsible driving even in the presence of radar. The entire event inside the automobile was tight and frightening, according to Shabazz. He was handcuffed along with the other 4 passengers during the stop. He claimed that after they had tried to collaborate and reveal their weapons, the escalation felt needless. A lieutenant and police supervisor was sent to the scene at Crawford's request. Before the citation was finished, their presence assisted in supervising the last exchange.
I think we should just let the man enjoy his great moment. He's a great fighter. And I see a lot of immature stuff, and I don't like the way things is going with.
But by then, we already knew the narrative from the video that was making the rounds online. Supporters argue over whether Crawford put himself in a precarious situation or if the cops overreacted. On an otherwise historic day for Omaha, some do view the incident as a setback. A fighter of Crawford's caliber shouldn't be at the heart of such an event, according to others who shared Mayweather's opinion. The leadership of the Omaha Police Department reacted promptly to the spotlight. Chief Todd Schmartra directed an internal affairs inquiry to examine officers' behavior. The John Ewing, the mayor, expressed his support and acknowledged that he and the chief were aware of the video's widespread distribution. When a firearm was detected and the decision was made to force passengers out at gunpoint, the review will concentrate on whether the proper processes were followed.
But they come up with guns drawn.
Wow, he had his gun drawn. Here's what TMZ wrote. Terence Crawford ordered out of the car by a cop holding a gun on a video. It says Terence Crawford was forced out of a car at gunpoint by police officers with tense exchange caught on video, and it's leading to an internal investigation.
Crawford is only officially charged with careless driving. All of the firearms discovered in the car were legal, according to multiple police confirmations, and no further charges would be brought. The weekend was nevertheless distinguished by the contrast between the city's daytime festivities and the late-night stop. After lining the streets early in the day, Omaha citizens now watched news about their champion being dragged at gunpoint from his vehicle. Social media reactions expressed incredulity. According to several admirers, it was the most crazy 24-hour period for a hometown hero. Critics said that Crawford should have never driven at such a late hour, while others claimed the police were singled him out.
Be an investigation, but the damage is already done, my guy. The damage is already done. I'll be surprised if Terence Bud Crawford comes back to the city just disrespectful to the face of boxing. Not saying that the man's above the law, but Lord child, what was y'all doing? Gunpoint?
By portraying the stop as an illustration of the differences in their careers, Mayweather has simply fueled additional disagreement in that discussion. Floyd asserts that a fighter's reputation is shaped by the decisions made when the spotlight is shining as much as by their victories. He believed that by being placed in handcuffs the same evening he was honored, Crawford ruined his own celebration.
And a very tough Cotto who was punching very hard from 4 to 54, you know. Remember Cotto had knocked out Delvin Rodriguez at 54. He'd still done some damage at 54, and I thought
won a title at 60.
Yeah, and I thought he knocked out Martinez at 60, and I thought he gave Mayweather a pretty good fight at 54. I don't know.
Beyond a brief statement, Crawford's team has decided to remain silent. On Sunday night, his spokesperson affirmed that he had nothing to say. He and his camp have not responded to the citation, the police statements, or Shabazz narrative in any way, and the internal affairs probe is still ongoing as of right now. The citation is still valid. The rest of the boxing world hasn't remained silent despite the ongoing escalation between Floyd and Crawford. Everybody has a different perspective on things. It's also not surprising that legends, analysts, and even promoters are weighing in when the names are this well known.
You know, I don't go off of that. You know, Floyd is the best fighter, you know, in his era, and I feel like I'm the best fighter in my era.
Oscar de la Hoya spoke his opinions clearly and never wanted to be left out of a Mayweather discussion. He essentially chuckled at the notion that Crawford is even close to Floyd after defeating Canelo. That parallel doesn't even make sense to Oscar. He reminded everyone that Floyd made Mayweather appear inexperienced when he faced Canelo when he was younger, fresher, and allegedly the bigger challenge. Crawford, on the other hand, had to fight hard and go through 12 rounds. Oscar claims that the distance between them isn't close because of this. He believed that Mayweather was already a king before he and Canelo even entered the ring.
I knew that. I said it. But Saul them kept saying, "Oh, them, keep boxing, keep boxing."
Does anybody know where Bo is?
Is he in the locker room?
Crawford's skill, however, lies in his ability to change styles mid-fight, adapt to any situation, and dismantle opponents in previously unheard of ways. Kellerman's perspective was less about taking sides and more about honoring both paths to success. He referred to it as two distinct peaks that coincidentally appear one after the other.
Dudes that's using what he got to shield him. He got a lot of security guards around him, and he's in the limelight and stuff like that. But in certain situations, he wouldn't be acting like that.
Do you like him as a fighter though?
Yeah, he's a damn good fighter.
Yeah.
But like his core personality and his ways.
Mayweather, Floyd Muddy. What makes that the choice? For several reasons, actually. First, Floyd dislikes it when people declare him the best while he's still alive. That's number one. Then, second, Canelo Alvarez says, well, you know, I think is better than Floyd, which is why they have been compared to one another ever since the fight. Thus, they are beginning to realize that they've always. Bernard Hopkins is next.
Floyd Money Mayweather. Why is that the option? Well, for a few reasons. One, because Floyd doesn't like anybody being called the best while he's still living. So that's number one. Number two, they have been compared to each other since the fight, because Canelo Alvarez says, well, you know, I think he's better than Floyd. So now they're starting to get, they've always.
But Ben does challenge the idea, pointing out that he is already a light heavyweight, 175 pounds. It doesn't make sense to him to drop back down and face Crawford. Crawford was forced to look at other super middleweight contenders as a potential bout quickly lost interest due to Ben's stance and Bo Max's refusal. What do you think will be the first battle? Please subscribe and comment below for more updates.